Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your December 2019 general readings. We are looking at the first half of December from the 1st to the 15th, and this reading is for the air sign of Aquarius. Welcome to everyone here. I am back at my home base in the States after much travel, at least for a little while. Thank you so much for those of you who always continue to follow wherever I go, because of course I always work wherever I go. Thanks for all your likes, shares, subscribes, all of that. Always welcome and always appreciated. Remember that these are general readings, so many of you already know that general readings always resonate a little differently for everybody watching. So if you know your other signs, rising sign, moon sign, Venus sign, or if you're cross-watching for others, watch those videos as well. They can provide additional clarification. And if any of you are interested in reaching out for a personal reading, just click on the description link below for more info and contact details. You can email me at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I offer a wide variety of readings in all the main areas of life, of all different types and lengths, ranging from 15 minutes up to an hour and a half. And as this is a big gift-giving time of the year, you may want to consider giving the gift of a personal reading, as there's nothing quite as personal as a personal reading because it's geared specifically towards one person. And also popular this time of the year, I do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. And while people order them at all different times of the year, they are particularly popular. I get a lot of requests for them at this time of the year as we are transitioning out of one year and into another, so just something to keep in mind. All right, let's move right into this reading. Again, this reading is for the air sign of Aquarius, Aquarius Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or if you are cross-watching for Aquarians. Let's see what the first half of December has in store for you. Okay, Aquarius. We begin with the Tower, followed by the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Devil, followed by the World. And from the bottom of the deck, overall energy for the first half of December is the Nine of Swords, which is understandable. I mean, the Nine of Swords is a card of a tremendous amount of stress, anxiety, worry, insomnia. Sometimes this card can represent that you are making something. You're focusing so obsessively and so negatively, kind of circular thinkings, not being able to let go of thinking about how bad something is or would be or could be or might be, that you're failing to see that there might be an answer or a solution nearby, or that you've made something to be so big and horrible in your head that it actually doesn't reflect the reality of the situation itself. Sometimes it's about making mountains out of molehills, but I think in this case, while you may be thinking about it too obsessively, I mean, you have some very challenging cards here. And this is, I mean, you have, you know, the Tower, the Devil right next to the Tower, the Nine of Swords, the World, which does represent a successful ending or a final ending. And this is one of those readings that I actually hope doesn't really resonate for too many people, if any people, because it looks very challenging and, you know, right in the holiday season too. So for those of you for whom this reading does resonate, there's a lot of stress, anxiety, and worry, a lot of mental stress. Swords is governed by the element of air, which is all about what goes on up in our heads, belief systems, ideology. However, the Nine of Swords, you can see there's a little owl sitting on the windowsill. Everything is symbolic in a tarot card. The colors, the designs, the people, the animals. You could spend hours just going over one tarot card. So you can see this little owl sitting on the windowsill here. Now, owls are one of those universal symbols of wisdom, insight, solution. She can't see it, even though it's almost right in front of her. Why? Because she's afraid. She's kind of completely immersed in the source of her stress, anxiety, and worry. So often the Nine of Swords represents that there may be a solution or some kind of insight or enlightenment that you may be missing because you're just so sunk into thinking obsessively about the negativity of this situation, because it does look like something has come to an end rather abruptly and unexpectedly, which is often what the Tower represents, a game-changing event. The fact that this man is falling out of his tower, which is made out of brick, thought it was solid, stable, and reliable, he's falling out of his tower stark naked, which kind of implies not only a sense of vulnerability, but the unexpectedness of this event happening as symbolized by a bolt of lightning kind of coming out of the sky. So it represents an event which has come to break down or shake to the foundation something which you thought was going to be in place for some time. Now the clarifying card for this is the Ten of Pentacles. So Pentacles is earth energy. And if you could really sum up Pentacles, it's really about the things in our life that make us feel stable, solid, secure. It's often the physical things like money, finance, property, real estate, assets, job, or the efforts we put into attaining stability and security, whether it's in long-term stable relationships, marriages, jobs, etc. The Ten of Pentacles is traditionally quite a positive card, tends to represent something coming to, a cycle coming to an end, or something coming to a fulfillment or completion. Generally positive, it can represent family home, family money, family business, family estate, long-term healthy marriages, successful retirements. But it's clarifying what this unexpected breakdown or shakeup was. I can't really tell from these cards, and this is a general reading, so it may mean different things to different people watching for those of you for whom it's resonating. And because it looks so challenging and we're right in the middle of the holiday season, I really kind of hope it doesn't resonate for anybody, but it will likely resonate for somebody out there because it needs to. This might be literal finances, material stuff, homes, business, maybe family home. It could represent the loss of something, and that could be, you know, in regards to family home, family money, family business, family estate, financial material security. I mean, it could be anything from losing your job to your house burning down, or a long-term relationship, stable relationship or marriage of yours or someone close to you, like your parents or something, you know, coming to an end or breaking up or something of that sort. And of course, there's a lot of stress, anxiety, and worry about it, because whatever the specifics of this mean to those of you for whom this resonates, it ultimately represents stability and security, long-term, deep roots, stability and security, whether it's emotional in terms of relationship or home or business or job or money, something like that. So there's been this unexpected kind of game-changing event to come in to cause a loss or a breakdown or a huge threat to some form of long-term stability and security in your life. Next to that, we have the Devil and the World. And 3 major arcana cards here out of 5. So this is a very significant, profound happening in your life. And the Devil represents instability, profound instability. It can sometimes represent imbalance, and it can sometimes show up for addictions like alcohol, drugs, food, gambling, shopping, mental health issues, really toxic negative relationships, things that we're enslaved to, which means that we pour too much obsessive energy into them to the detriment and harm of other areas or people in our life. So it represents significant and profound instability and imbalance. And it is sitting right next to the Tower. Now, clarifying that, we have the World, which is a card of major completion. It's the last major arcana card in the tarot. The first is actually the Fool. He has the 0 at the top of his card. And all the cards after the Fool leading to the world, are about the Fool's journey through life, which is our journey through life, learning, changing, growing, evolving, succeeding, failing, everything that we learn until we get to the end of a particularly significant chapter in our life, and we are preparing for the next stage, the next journey, something brand new, or a transition into the next stage of something. So the world represents pretty final conclusion, although typically it represents a very positive sense of completion or conclusion, achievement, and you're now looking forward at the other one. Now, having successfully completed something or successfully achieved something doesn't necessarily mean that what you achieved was pleasant. I mean, sometimes the world can show up just as much for, you know, happy graduation for something as much as it can represent, you know, getting through a long and nasty divorce too. It just represents that you've successfully climbed a very significant, challenging mountain, and you're now preparing for something new in your life. And that is how Spirit works, God, Spirit, your angels, and guides. Calamitous things which come in and happen, you know, like death and whatever the Tower card can represent for people. Sometimes the Tower card is a game changer in positive ways too, but it's often challenging. And the key to kind of understanding and utilizing the energies of these events, even if they're painful or challenging or traumatic, is that, number one, it's divine timing and orchestration. Even if we can't see it, we don't have the perspective at the time to understand why this is happening or even how we're going to get through it. When something is coming to an end in an unexpected sort of way, regardless of whether you can see it or not, it's about kind of accepting that it's happening for a reason. Even if you thought something was solid, stable, and reliable, the very fact that something was able to come in and break it down represents that there was cracks or flaws in it somehow, and it needs to be taken right down to the ground so that it can either be rebuilt into the manner in which it needs to be, or something else needs to be built in its place. And so trying to go with that as much as possible, even if at the time we can't really see why, is the key to kind of moving through this energy as quickly as possible. Because it does look like there was a breakdown of something that was a source of stability, for those of you for whom this resonates. You know, the devil is attached to it too, so it might be that some sense of stability and security was broken down or lost because of addictions, toxic negative behavior, mental health issues, you know, something of that sort. However, whatever is ending is absolutely meant to end. The thing itself, or this phase of it, because you have 3 cards here, Aquarius, that are specifically oriented towards something being over and it needing to be over, even if you can't see why. The Tower is about things breaking down and ending, something completely changing what was. The Ten of Pentacles tends to also represent the ends of cycles. The World, the last major arcana card, this is about endings and preparing for the next stage of your journey, which I believe that Spirit is preparing you for. And sometimes that preparation can be very unexpected, difficult, and challenging. And sometimes the Tower represents something that needs to end that we may have been given the opportunity to end ourselves but didn't take it, and because it's absolutely not meant to be part of our karmic path, Spirit comes in and kind of does it, sometimes rather abruptly and unexpectedly. But this is paving the way for something else, even if you can't see what that something else is now, because the last card in this spread here is the World, which is about major completion, but it's also about looking ahead at the next stage, the next new chapter. I'm going to see, because I can't just leave it like this, I'm going to pull just a couple of cards to see what lies next, what comes after the Devil in the World. And then we'll pull some advice. All right, you had 2 come out. The first one that came out is the Fool. Interesting, because this is the first major arcana card and we have the World. And after that is Strength. So the Fool is the first major arcana card. It's about starting a brand new journey, the breath before the first step. And this can represent stepping off the beaten path, definitely walking in faith, doing something you've never done before, something that you might be afraid of doing, because the Fool is a trailblazer. He steps off the beaten path in order to discover and explore something new, taking a risk, doing something completely different, unknown, which can be intimidating. And then the Strength, which is about facing fears, doubts, and insecurities. This is what it's going to take to move through the energy of the Fool. So there's been an ending, a breaking down, for those of you for whom I am reading this for. It looks very challenging. And while it's never a good time for challenging, painful, traumatic events to happen in our lives, of course, we're kind of heading into the holiday season. We are in the holiday season, and that can be challenging enough. So, but there's been an ending and breaking down. And even if you can't put it in the perspective of it's meant to be this way, the way is quite clearly being paved for something new, something completely different, something completely new, a new beginning. It's going to take strength, facing your fears, doubts, worries, anxieties, wrestling with your own personal demons, bad habits, perhaps patterns of choice making, walking in faith. But the very qualities that it's going to take to walk through this into this brand new beginning, which you are going to find exciting. You're also going to gain more strength, wisdom, courage, true humility by going through this process. I think this is one of those events for those of you for whom it represents something painful or challenging, unexpected, or traumatic. It's going to be one of those things that after you get some distance away from this, time and distance, which always creates perspective, you're going to look back at this event now from a perspective a little ways down the road and go, you know, that was really messed up, or that was like one of the most difficult things I've had to deal with, but it's put me in this beautiful place, and it was really a blessing in disguise. That's what I feel this is. It's paving the way for. The Fool is my very favorite major arcana card. He's just starting off. He's excited. He can't wait. There might be some nervousness, some trepidation, some anxiety, but it's brand new. Taking a risk, stepping off the beaten path into the unknown. There's fear, yes, but there's a tremendous amount of excitement too, and conquering your fears, looking at your fears and just walking right into them. You gain more. It takes courage to do that, but you also gain more courage and wisdom and insight, and you expand and grow. Let's pull one or two advice cards. Queen of Wands, and right behind it is the Six of Wands. Fire energy, dynamic, powerful, creative, artistic, passionate fire energy. The Queen of Wands, she goes after what she wants. She is very assertive. She doesn't take no for an answer. If some way doesn't work, then she figures out another way to try, and she does that. This is somebody who's very charismatic. She's driven by the energy of fire, and she, having grown from a page into a queen, she has learned how to master it and make it work for her, because it is part of her inherent character traits. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Very assertive, dynamic, go for it energy. This is advice. You're being asked to manifest the energy of the Queen or King of Wands, and that's what's going to lead you to the energy of the Six of Wands. Victory, triumph, and success after a struggle, after a challenge, and recognition of this as well, perhaps in the public eye as well, or by friends and family around you. So you're going to get through this, Aquarius, for those of you for whom this is resonating for, regardless of what the specifics are. Whatever is ending or being broken down, even if it's difficult to see or impossible to see right now, it is paving the way for a brand new beginning that you are being asked to walk into. Not unafraid. You can be afraid, just walk into it. Manifest the energy of the Queen of Wands. Act as if you are her, and that's what's going to lead you to a place of success and victory and triumph. So Aquarius, that wraps up your reading for the first half of December 2019. I hope that while it may have not have been all that enjoyable, if it's about a very challenging and difficult time, I hope that it's been helpful and useful and positive for you, because it's leading you to a really beautiful new beginning and something much better for you. Again, those of you that are interested in reaching out for a personal reading, particularly if any of these videos resonate for you, just click on the description link below. Email me directly at maggie@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I do readings full time, 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with both your schedule and mine to get readings out to you, or if they're gifts for other people, in as timely a fashion as possible. So email me if you're interested, and we'll go from there. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings. Until then, I wish you the very best, and I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. Take care. Bye-bye.